Well, let's go to our South Australian Election Centre now with ABC Elections analyst Antony Green. Antony, for those of us who are watching on the outside, looking in, where do we start from? What's the general picture for tomorrow?
Well, we'll start with the general numbers. There's been quite a number of changes to the parliament since the last general election. The starting position, the government won a majority last time, but it's lost several members to the crossbench. There's been redistributions, members switching seats. So to the best of our numbering, we're starting with 23 seats for the Liberal Party, 20 for Labor, and there are 4 independents who are all ex-Liberals. Now, you need 24 seats for majority government in South Australia. The government is defending 4 seats on margins under 2%. So it's very easy to see how the Liberal Party could lose seats to the Labor Party. It's then a matter of whether Labor wins 4 seats to get majority or not, or whether they fall short and the Liberal Party falls short and the crossbench holds the balance of power. And as I said, 4 of those ex-Liberals, 4 of those crossbench members are ex-Liberals. But as we've seen in the past in South Australia, just because you're an ex-Liberal independent doesn't mean they'll support a Liberal government. And twice in the last 2 decades, Labor's formed government with the help of former independents, former Liberals on the crossbench.
Right, so how much of a swing might be required to get Labor across the line then, uniformly speaking?
Well, the uniform swing's 2%, but if they miss any of those 4 seats under 2%, there isn't another one under 6%. So depending on how patchy the swing is, it's those 4 seats everyone will be watching. But of course, we've seen an opinion poll this week suggesting Labor could get 56% of the 2-party preferred vote, and that's an 8% swing. And at an 8%, they will easily get 4 seats somewhere in the state. So the real interest is whether Labor falls short and we get into this negotiation of forming government. It's very common in South Australia for neither side to get a majority in their own right. But if the polls are right, and we've got one more poll to come out tonight, if Labor is on 54, 55, 56, it's hard to see how they wouldn't win. And it's been a difficult campaign for the government, who've lost their majority after running for COVID zero for 2 years, suddenly ran straight into sort of living with COVID after opening the borders at the same time as the Omicron virus arrived.
Yeah, it would be a bit of a circuit breaker on that narrative. Well, you've covered all of them, Antony, about incumbents being greatly advantaged by the pandemic. I suppose that would be a bit of a game changer there. And one-term governments, they are relatively rare in South Australia too.
Yeah, I think the last one was 1979. The Tonkin government lost after one term after the surprise election in 1979. We haven't seen many around the country recently. The Baillieu and Napthine governments in Victoria from 2010 to 2014. Famously, Campbell Newman's government between 2012 and 2015 in Queensland. One-term governments are the rarity. The great interest, admittedly, South Australia is not crucial to the federal election. There is realistically only 1 seat in play in South Australia at the federal election, but it will be watched because if the Labor Party does poll 56%, and everyone's discounting the opinion polls suggesting that, then if the polls are right, then perhaps people might start saying maybe we should believe those federal polls, which look so bad for the Morrison government at the moment.
Yeah, right. It might cast a different light on that. And just as far as your art and, or is it a craft, Antony, I'm not sure, of calling elections is concerned, pre-polls and postals, are they likely, in the event of something a little tight, to frustrate you tomorrow night?
It's only if it's tight. In Western Australia, I think the count didn't even reach 40% on the night, but that was a pretty one-sided result, of course. Here, I think if it's closer, then there will be seats where we just have to wait. There are some seats where the count will be under 50% at the end of the night. As of last night, 25% of the electorate had already voted, which is roughly towards 30% of all votes cast. And there'll be a big day of pre-polling today, which will increase that number. So if the vote reaches 50% overall on Saturday night, it might reach that, but there'll be individual seats where it won't.